I realized afterwards that because of your subject matter, a really good thing to use through the channels is comic book pictures. So if I go open here and I'll just have a look, go with this one. So I'm just going to select all, cut it. I don't need it anymore because I've cut it. Don't save. I'm looking at replacing the second robin, so I'm going to go edit in here. Don't need to have it clipped. Put that back to how it was. So the first thing I'll do is I'll go to channels, make a new channel, start with white, Command delete because white's the background color, Command V, and now I'm going to go to actually what I'll do is I'll just Command D that, Command to L, make sure it's all nice and black and white, Command I, select that, layers, there's my blank layer, you can see the transparency on it, change it to black, Option delete, and I have my cartoon. So I'm just going to go, oh actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it around so Robin's around the other way. So I'm going to go edit, transform, and a bit further down is one that says flip horizontal. Do that, flips it around, and now I'm going to go Command T, and shuffle it around a wee bit, maybe I'll make it a wee bit bigger. Bigger again. There we go, I like that. Hit return, and those changes are going to take effect. For a start, I'm going to drag it right up the top so it's above everything else. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to mask it. So there it is. I've got my mask, and black is my foreground color. I don't really want it coming out this side, so I'll bump it back to where the sky tower is. Actually, I'm going to take this guy out altogether. Take all the stuff out at the top. Probably don't really want his hand in there. And get a different kind of brush if I want to soften this, but I think this will be okay. I kind of like these little lines on the ridge of the palm coming out. I'm just going to clean it around Robin's face. There we go. Let's get rid of this stuff. Down here. Oops. There we go. I'll just get rid of it all out the side. Command 0. Cool. So we've got this coming in. Now I can drag this down so the majority of it sits back down here. So it's going behind Robin, but at the same time I can duplicate that. Take it right back up to the top, and this time with the mask, just getting rid of it so it doesn't go over the text. But if I look at this, take that back. I must have bumped something. I can have a look at this and say, oh, actually, if I get a soft brush, now what am I going to leave and what am I not? So I can use the body of Robin again, the smaller one. So I can go Command, click on the mask, and I can look at this and say, alright, I quite like these dribbles coming over the hand. I might just I'm going to paint them back in a bit so they're a bit stronger. X, so black is the foreground colour, so I'm blocking out now, and I'll block out some of these aspects here. Maybe I don't want it so much around the elbow. Leave some little bits in. Take out this around the body. Take out these really kind of heavy dark spots, but I might leave some of that light stuff around the leg coming over, and I would just go Command Shift I, so it's focused on the other area, and I'm just going to make sure now that I'm getting rid of the double up of the layer behind Robin, because it'll just make it overall a wee bit darker. But you could do exactly the same thing. You could have it coming over a little bit over the text. So if we do that, if we look at where the text is, Command, I can get that that shadow there, and I can actually go up to exactly the same layer right up the top. This time white, I want it to show, so I can come up here to the lettering, and where I paint with white, it's going to bring it back across the lettering. Put just lightly in the S, Command D, and so we're starting to mix it in a little bit. All of the stuff as well, like if I go back to the where is it? The cartoon right back here. Do I want to lighten it off so it's darker when it comes across the body, but it's light in the background? The nice thing with this technique as well, if I just bump it up for a second, is I can make a new layer that's underneath it, and we can come in and paint stuff up. So if I get this, I'm going to get a hard brush, 89, I for the eyedropper tool. I'm just going to get that skin color, paintbrush again, make it a bit smaller. I can paint behind here. I don't know exactly what that is, a bit of drool or spit or something. I'll leave that. Just colour that the same colour. I'm not trying to get all these little wee bits, but just essentially just painting behind the black line. If you wanted to get fancy, you could bring another layer and double it up and put it just over the top of the photograph of the robin as a kid. But I'm not going to go that far at the moment. Colour the hair and all that sort of stuff. If I want to soften the brush a bit where it meets the hairline, and you can go in and use opacity and all those sorts of things if you want. And yeah, we can put that on multiply, although that's just going to make it a darker color. Just leave it on normal. We do the same thing. We can push the opacity back, though it will start to lose a bit of color. And the same with this one. If we didn't want the lines quite so hard, this will get tricky because as this becomes more transparent, you'll see where I've been painting. So you do have to kind of be careful with that. It's probably better when it's up at a full percentage for that colouring to work. It's bump it up and maybe take the skin tone back a wee bit. And maybe we, instead of having it as black eyedropper, we pick that blue, make it a bit darker, so now it's still a solid colour. Option Shift Delete, but it knocks the colour right back. Now you can't, it's not about transparency, it's just about the colour. So now if I knock this right back, we won't see it coming through because of the opacity. Maybe it's not quite working. But the contrast between the photographic and the comic book style can start to work really well.